What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles, the YouTube channel. So this week is going to be a little bit different, something we've never done on the channel, and we're going to be ranking some of the top 5 favorite things throughout the year that I have done, watched, seen, whatever. So today we're starting off with the top 5 movies that I like 2023. Zora's here. She's excited. She's ready to go. Now, over the last year, there's 35,000 films released in 2023. It's a lot of movies. I ended up seeing over, I think, 100 films, either through, going to the movies or watching on Netflix or some streaming platform. And here's some of the clips. These are the top movies in 2023 based off Letterboxd. I love this app, too. It helps me record everything and help me remember what movies I watch, because I watch a lot of movies, and it's hard for me to remember all of them. So, yeah, we're going to do a top 5 list. This is based off what I like. And then we also have a bonus too. Zora, you really want to talk, don't you? But yeah, we have a bonus too. Chelsea also submitted her list too, so we'll review her list too as well. So yeah, let's start it off. And let's go with, let's see if we can do this right. So we'll do number 5, Dungeons & Dragons. Now, I know, Dungeons & Dragons, right? Surprise. But I think the movie was really needed for the kind of video game genre kind of thing. We'll talk about TV shows later on. It's a very good video game kind of movie. We've had Dungeons & Dragons before, and those movies were terrible. They were trash. But this one was actually really funny. It was really good. I'm not the biggest Dungeons & Dragons fan, but watching this movie really did draw me into it, and I know it drew other people into it as well. Had a great storyline. It was easy to follow, but yet it was still complicated. Not complicated, but it still showed the root of Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, I know a lot about Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played it. Seen all the different people have their different quirks and abilities, and the storyline was good, and it was really funny and comical. It was yes, let's go. I don't know. It was just a really, really good movie. If you haven't watched it and you like Pokemon, I feel you would definitely like Dungeons and Dragons. It's still maybe kind of maybe a niche kind of thing, but I think if you like Guardians, the Marvel movies, is definitely up your alley kind of thing. I think it's just a play on comedic, but serious kind of funny kind of thing. It's not as serious as Game of Thrones or something like that, but it's still it drew you in. It kept you very much on the edge of your seat kind of thing, and I think it's really good. I hope they do a sequel. I don't know if they've announced anything yet. I haven't looked into it. But yeah, number 5, it's got to be Dungeons & Dragons. I think we're starting off hot. Dungeons & Dragons, really good. Check it out for sure. So number 4, we actually have Scream 6. Now, horror movies, there was a lot. Evil Dead Rise is another one that comes up to you. There's the one, oh man, let's see. There's the Skinamarink, which I don't know. A lot of people like that movie. I don't really like it. I think I have some more as well too. I have to look through my list. There's some more. I can't remember the names of course I'm drawing blank. When Evil Lurks was a good one. That was really good. But Scream is really good because it's your slasher kind of film, right? And we know what Scream is. If you see Scream 1 through 5, you know exactly what it is, right? You know what you're gonna get, right? And even though this is the 6th adaptation of it, I think it still feels fresh and new. You got a lot more backstory. And I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but you get a lot of backstory to one of the characters, which is great. Learn about their family and stuff, and how it kind of ties all in. Not a spoiler, but it's in a new city. It's actually in New York City, and I think they did a really good play on that. There's a lot of cool scenes that they do that can only happen in New York City. So they were outside of where we normally are. Because you're allowed to do cool new things, I know the trailer of the subway ride, right? We know the subway ride happens and stuff like that, and it's just kind of creepy kind of vibe. Also, I think the museum, if you know what I'm talking about, that was really cool to see how there was a historical kind of thing going on with it. I think that was really nice. And even though it's I said, it's Scream 6, I think it's still fresh. I think it's one of the better ones for sure. I think it probably is one of my favorite ones. It's still silly, a play on horror movies and stuff like that, but I think it's still serious, and I think it helps draw a lot of people into the horror kind of genre, right? It's not something that's really gross or something that's really scary, or it's not really going to freak you out. It is kind of comical and satire kind of thing, but I think if you like horror, you'll also like this. But then you don't like horror and you want to experience a horror based genre, I think that's where Scream 6 is really good. Because Evil Dead Rises, the new one that came out this year, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but I think like if you don't like super gore horror movies, that's not for you, right? The new Saw movie that came out, really, really good movie. Saw was really, really good. They did great. Saw 10, I think it was Saw 10. Did really good. It was like probably one of the better Saw movies they had in a very, very long time. But Scream 6 is like a great like showcasing of like, hey, this is what a horror movie can be like. This is what can draw you into it. And if you like gorier, more stuff, then you should check out the other stuff, right? The more scarier things, right? You can check out that stuff like we'll check out like The Conjuring and stuff like that. Start getting to those kind of like kind of getting to more based down the scarier route, right? We're not going like super scary and gory like something like Terrifier or something like that. But I think Scream 6 it does a great job. I think it hits all the nails on the head. Also, Thanksgiving was another good movie that came out this year. If you haven't seen that one, but Scream 6, I think it's a definitely number 4 spot for me. It's really funny. It's really good. There's a lot of horror movies, and it's one of my favorite genres. But yeah, Scream 6, I definitely think is like the number 4 spot for me. Number 3, we have Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, this is a 3-hour movie. It is a 3-hour long movie. I'll tell you that. Leonardo DiCaprio, I've soft spot in my heart. Titanic, if you don't know, is my favorite movie of all time. I actually saw it again this year. They did a re-release, the 3D version, so check that out if you haven't. But yeah, it's a really good showcasing of like good versus evil, like what could happen. It's like this like interesting like documentary style kind of footage. It's gonna be like another movie we're gonna talk about later on, of course. But it really does show like really, really good storytelling, right? You feel bad for people. You see all the stuff happening to them. You're like, man, okay, what's going on? And even though it's 3 hours long, I don't feel there's like ever a dead moment. Also, it's something original. It's unique, right? And I think that's where this number 2 and maybe even number 1 is something cool to see. And I think it is great to see Leonardo come back. Robert De Niro come back. I think there's other people. The guy from Breaking Bad's in it. I can't remember his name right now. He's always doing great, right? Lily Gladstone, which is I don't want to spoil everything what she does, but she does a great job too, and everything that happens to her, it's wild to see, right? The court case is great and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on, and seeing Leonardo DiCaprio's character like do all these like different like ups and downs, it's like such a roller coaster, and it's so fun. And if you definitely didn't see this, like it definitely like it's a movie you like can easily watch. And now that it's like it could be like not in theaters, you can maybe like take breaks if you want to. But like 3 hours, I know it seems like a lot to watch, but I think it's like 3.5 hours. I can't remember. It's a long movie, but it definitely does not feel like 3.5 hours. It's not like okay, all right, let me take a nap or something. This is a slow scene or something. No, I think it's all like good story building, good storyline, and I definitely think it's deserving of the number 3 spot. Number 2 is going to probably shock people. It's going to be Saltburn. Me and Chelsea both like this movie a lot, and the more we're talking about, the more crazier it gets and stuff like that. And it's like Tyler says, we're all about to lose our minds. And this movie, I would definitely say if you're easily squeamish, I definitely wouldn't watch it if I was you, just to let you know. But it's a crazy story. There's twists and turns, and like the ending is like blows your mind, right? I think that's one of the cool things because you never know what's really happening in the movie. It's like the very last ending, and then like it all clicks. And it's like one of those movies that you have to watch the first time, right? And you're like learning about it and everything else, and then you watch it the first time, and then you're like, oh, I know what's happening, right? And you watch it a second time, you're like, oh, that makes sense now. Oh, this makes, and it's like one of those like movies that's easy to rewatch, right? And it's cool to rewatch because you know what happens at the end of the first one, right? The first watch, and you watch it a second time. It's so good, right? There's so many good. Barry is fantastic. He's in so many great movies. I'm also not surprised. I'm happy that Jacob Elordi is in here too. He does great in a bunch of movies as well. I think he has 2 movies that came out this year. I'm pretty sure he's in Priscilla. He's Elvis in Priscilla. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. Let me make sure I'm correct. I'm pretty sure he's in Priscilla as Elvis. Let's see, Priscilla movie. And yeah, so he's Elvis. He was in a very popular TV show that's pretty much canceled now at this point. I like that movie a lot. He did a TV show a lot. He did great in it. So yeah, Saltburn definitely. It's another roller coaster kind of ride, right? Just because like you really like this Barry character. You like how Jacob and Barry, how they're communicate, like how they like kind of intertwine and stuff like that, and this like family dynamic and stuff like that. It's really cool to see, and like all the plot lines behind it, and it's really good. I would definitely say it's very different, and that to me is one of the like more exciting things. Different movies get me like super excited to watch, like something that's different, and that's what Saltburn does. And a lot of these movies actually do. If you look at the list again, like Killers Fly Moon, it's like a documentary about something we really haven't talked about before. Scream 6, okay, it might be the same, but it's different, like take on satire of a horror. And the Dungeons and Dragons, very different, right? So I like that, like when people take different kind of stuff and strides. So Saltburn, really good. I think it's a great movie. Now that's number two. Saltburn's number two. Now before we do this, I'm gonna go over Chelsea's list because me and Chelsea we watch all movies together, of course. So in number, hers is pretty much similar. We pretty much agree on all our top fives. Chelsea's is Dungeons and Dragons. 4 is Barbie. 3 is Killers of the Flower Moon. And 2 is Saltburn. So she's got Barbie at number 4. Barbie is a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. If you're curious, these are all movies I gave 5 stars. Other movies I gave 5 stars is Barbie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Man Called Otto, and The Whale are all movies that I gave 5 stars to throughout the year. But at number 1, of course, it's going to be Oppenheimer. It's the only movie I saw twice in theaters. We saw it twice in theaters. Like the filming of it is fantastic. It is beautiful. It looks fantastic. The storyline behind it is great. There's never a slow kind of moving. And you would think, a movie based around what it is would be very very boring, maybe. I don't know. Like very nerdy, right? But it's so good. And like seeing the repercussions of what happens with Oppenheimer, and like you think, oh, the bomb blows up, that's the end of the movie. No, it keeps going. The trial scenes are fantastic. See people like Oppenheimer had to defend himself like that. Like that's fantastic. I think those aren't really spoilers; those are in the trailers. I'm trying to think what's in the trailers, stuff like that. Seeing how excited they were to do this, and seeing like the downfall of it. Oh man, this is what we've done. Once again, we talk about the ups and downs, right? I think that's a good thing to showcase. Like, oh my, you're like your realization, and you start having this beautiful idea, stuff like this, and then you realize like, oh no, what have I done? What can we do to fix this? And I think that's what Oppenheimer's. It's so good. Like storyteller is so good. Christopher Nolan's fantastic director. All the movies by Christopher Nolan are like they're pretty great. I don't care what anybody says. They're all pretty fantastic. Everybody in the movie does great. Cillian Murphy, once again, probably going to should get actor of the year or whatever the thing is. I don't really know the names of them. Emily Blunt does a great job. Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., and Florence Pugh. They're all fantastic. There's a star-studded cast. I think it's probably one of the best movies I've seen in a very long time. I think a lot of people will agree on that for sure. But yeah, number 1 easily Oppenheimer. It's so good. If you didn't watch it, you definitely missed out because watching it in theaters was so crazy. I watched it in on regular movies, and then I watched it in the IMAX super duper 44 whatever it's called. It was so crazy to see how it looked like on the IMAX. It was, oh my gosh, it was so crazy to see. And if they ever do a rerun of that in that kind of cinema setting, I would definitely go back and watch it again. I definitely highly advise if you like going to the movies. It's definitely one that you should have seen. If they ever do a rerun, actually they just did a rerun. If you missed that one, what are you doing? You had 2 chances of seeing it. It's definitely gonna be one of the best movies in a long time. Sorry that Barbie's not on the list. If I had to put Barbie somewhere, it'd be number 6. Maybe. I think it's another comical satire movie, and it kind of falls in the line of Dungeons and Dragons for me. Although Dungeons and Dragons has just been great this year. They had that in the Baldur's Gate 3. So a lot of good things for the Dungeons and Dragons players. So that's good to see. But yeah, number 1, Oppenheimer. 2, Saltburn. 3, Killers of the Flower Moon. 4, Scream 6. And 5 was Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. There we go, guys. I saw most of these movies on the list too. Barbie, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man, Guardians, Super Mario. Didn't see Astro City. I want to see Bottoms. Killers of the Flower Moon, Five Nights. Past Lives. Didn't see. I want to see that one. We'll see John Wayne eventually. I want to wait till it come out. No Hard Feelings. There's a lot of these movies I've seen that are top. But yeah, I agree with a lot of these as well too. There are really good movies. I don't know what they mean by popular. I guess maybe how many times people saw them or something. Because I definitely don't think Five Nights at Freddy's is that great of a movie, but it definitely was probably really seen. You can see Dungeons and Dragons, Scream 6 on there. Beau is Afraid was an okay movie. Cocaine Bear, I don't think that came out this year. I think it was last year. Boy in the Heron, I saw that. It's definitely, just another kind of movie that you've seen before, you've seen it again. Saw 10's on there. The creator was pretty good. There's a lot of good movies this year, which made me really happy. It was hard to pick 5, but those are my top 5 movies. So yeah, let me know what you think. What are your top 5 movies? Tomorrow we'll do something interesting, another top 5 list. And so yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty, bye.